Hi guys, my name is Jeannie. Welcome to my channel. So today I'm gonna do a review on the Fenty Beauty Eaze Drop Blur Skin Tint. Skin Tint Stick. Smooth Tint Skin Tint Stick. Foundation. Skin Tint Stick. Okay, the name is way too long. From now on, let's just call it the Fenty Beauty Blur Stick. So I'm gonna do a review on the Fenty Beauty Blur Stick today. If you guys wanna know my thoughts about it, how it worked on my skin and my thoughts about it, then keep on watching. But before you do that, please like and subscribe. And when the video's over, let me know what you think about the product, if you're gonna get it or if you're gonna pass on this launch. And with that being said, let's hop right into the video. Okay, so this is the packaging. Very pretty packaging. I really like it. It's white, it's kind of like this translucent white, and it just has the name really subtly along the front of it, and I think it's really pretty. I have the shade 420. This is about how much you get. I want to go over some specs about this Fenty Beauty Blur Stick. So I have it in the shade 20, and the shade 20 is deep with warm golden undertones. I also have the original Fenty Beauty Eaze Drop Skin Tint. So I'm gonna compare the two shades and show you guys how similar or not similar they may be. So you guys can decide if you need to go with the same shade or if you need to choose a new shade in this blur stick. So what is it? A light coverage long wear tint stick, creamy, instantly blurs while melting into the skin for a natural finish. And the coverage is light to medium, and the finish is natural, and it's a cream formulation. It says that this is a crease-proof formula that delivers a blurred and smooth second skin finish that resists fading and transferring. It says it's easy to use, it helps with all-day hydration. Okay, and it says it's 100% recyclable. That's cool. We love recycling. So for how to use, it says for light coverage, apply directly to the skin across your cheeks, forehead, nose, and chin. Blend with your fingers or a full-bodied foundation brush. And for extra blurring benefits, press into the skin with a precision makeup sponge. Okay, so I guess you can use like maybe a beauty blender or their specific sponge if you really want a more targeted coverage or more blurring effect. Okay, fuller coverage, load directly onto the full-bodied foundation brush. Blend where needed. Okay, so I guess they're saying if you want fuller coverage, put it on directly onto your foundation brush and blend where needed. And it says to make sure you put the cap back on after every use, because if you don't, this little product will dry out. Let's get into the shade comparison. I said I have the shade 20. This is the shade 20 in the blur stick. I'm gonna use the Eaze Drop Skin Tint just to show you the difference in colors. They're both in the shade 20. This is the difference between the colors off bat. You can see that 20 in the skin tint looks like it's a dead-on match, and the one from the stick looks like it's a little bit more orange. But let's blend it out a little bit to see. Okay, so I blended both of them a little bit more with my fingers, and it looks like the 20 in the skin tint is pretty good match. Both look like a match, but the skin tint looks a little bit lighter than the blur stick does. But they seem to both blend out very similarly. So I kind of blended both of them like into my skin, and they were very close to each other, so you can barely see like the line of demarcation. They look basically the same once you blend them out. I blended both of them out, and they both match my skin, but initially the skin tint does look a little bit lighter than the blur stick. They're both still a good match, and they're both blending into the skin, so I feel like if you have the shade 20 in the skin tint and you have the shade 20 in the blur stick, you should be fine. If your complexion is a little bit lighter than mine, you might want to try 19 because the blur stick seems like it's just a little bit darker. So you can try that and see if it fits you better if you're more on the lighter side of 20, if you get what I mean. But if you're like a true 20, then the shade 20 in the blur stick should work for you just fine. Okay, so I wiped my face and I'm ready to go in with the primer. For primer, I'm gonna go in with e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I'm just gonna put down a little bit of primer. Okay, so I know you guys are gonna wanna see how this looks blended out with the fingers, so I'm gonna do that first. I didn't apply a lot, but the first thing I noticed is that it kind of like, it has like more of a tug to it when you do blend it out with your finger. It's not as like silky as I would have thought it would have been, or like creamy-ish. It's not a very like wet creamy, if that makes sense. So I don't know, it says that it's moisturizing, but it doesn't really feel moisturizing on my skin. But then again, I guess that could have to do something with the primer. So far, I don't know if it would be good for super, super dry skin. So I have quite a bit on this side, and I'm gonna finish blending it out with my fingers. Okay, so on this side, I have the blur stick, and on this side, I don't have anything on my face. And honestly, looking at it side by side, I feel like it looks very natural. It looks very natural without being very dewy, if that makes sense. But I still did feel a little bit of like, you know, a little bit of that like tugging when I'm blending it with my finger. So it's not super hydrating, not to me at least. And I have oily skin, so if you have drier skin than me, I'm not sure if you're gonna like it. It's not really seeming to cling to any of like my skin, so I feel like that is a good sign. So maybe it would be okay for dry skin. It's really hard for me to say because I don't have dry skin, but I know that it doesn't feel very moisturizing to me. You know what I mean? So, I mean, take that with a grain of salt. The color match, very, very good. Very, very good. To me, I can barely tell that I'm wearing anything. I'm trying to give you guys a close-up. You can still see a little bit of blemishes, but it did a good job of like evening out my skin tone. I like it so far. I feel like it looks really natural. So let's do the other side. I want to do what they said for more full coverage about applying it directly to a brush. I'm applying it directly to this kabuki brush. Okay, so let's do this side. It has nothing on it besides the primer. They said to apply it directly to the brush for more coverage, so that's exactly what I did. I feel like I have a good amount on the brush, and I'm ready to go in and see if we're actually gonna get more coverage. This is the side applied directly to the brush for more coverage. Do you guys see more coverage? It's kind of hard for me to tell, but I felt like when I initially was applying it, I did see slightly more concentrated coverage because I wasn't blending it away as much, and I was kind of just like, you know, blending it but letting it stay more in that specific area. So I feel like it does have a little bit more coverage. So this is a close-up, and I feel like I can see less of my blemishes on this side. Y'all will let me know if I'm bugging, right? Because let's see. This is the other side. I feel like I can see like this like mark right here a little bit, and like a little bit more discoloration. This side looks a little bit more flawless, I think. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I could be bugging. I'm gonna add a little bit more to the brush and just kind of even everything out. Okay, so the blur stick is applied to the whole face, and I feel like it did a really good job of making my skin very even. It's not dewy or anything, and it's not super matte. It's natural finish, but it's on the drier side, I would say. Like, I'm not feeling any like silky smoothness to my fingertips. So I think that if you have oily skin, you might like this, but then again, this is just an initial impression, so I don't know how it's gonna wear throughout the day just yet, but I'll update you guys in the comments below and let you know how long it lasted on my skin. So I'm gonna finish the rest of my makeup and then come back and give you guys my final thoughts. I'm gonna set my face with the One Size powder. I did something basic on the eyes, and I'm gonna just use some bronzer. Of course, Mocha Mami. Oh my gosh, I looked at my first video the other day and I realized I've had this same bronzer for 3 years. So sometimes when products are expensive, I'm like, why? But then you realize they last you so long. And yes, I know I should probably throw this out, but I'm not. I'm gonna line my lips with a dark lip liner. And I'm gonna add some lipstick, L'Orange by Laura Mercier. And of course, Hot Cherry. Okay, so I'm back. I finished my makeup. Definitely do not have to add anything extra if you don't want to. You can wear it as is. It's super natural, so you can definitely get away with wearing it on its own. Let's get into my final thoughts about this Fenty Beauty Blur Stick. Let me give you guys a close-up before I get into my final thoughts. I don't know if I forgot to mention the price in the beginning, but it does retail for $35 and it has 9 grams of product. I think that this blur stick is like perfect, easy, and compact. I love this sleek little packaging. I think the packaging is great. I feel like it's really easy to use. I love how you can just roll it up and go. A lot of the times I don't even want to deal with something that's wet because I don't want to have to wait for it to dry or set it with anything. I did set my under eyes because I put on concealer after everything was done, but honestly I only used the very little bit that was left on my powder puff for the rest of my face. It really didn't even need to be set. Like I could tell like the texture of it. I didn't really need to set it with anything. I barely set it, but if I hadn't set it, I feel like it would still look just like this, like look really flawless and look really natural. And I feel like especially for work and everyday makeup, you want something that you can just grab and like get out of the house. Like just a little bit of, you know, blending, make sure everything is blended in well, and then you can like go add your little concealer or whatever you feel like adding and just be out of the door. So I feel like this is super, super easy to use. Using this brush from Merit was perfect. It blended it in really well. I feel like I got a really good amount of coverage. It says light to medium. That's perfect. This light to medium is perfect. Honestly, it really looks good. It paired really well with my Lancome concealer. I honestly could see myself using this even if I want a slightly more like glam look because it's so natural, but it has a really good finish and it has a really good coverage. Like the coverage is really good. This looks great. It looks great. It looks natural. It does not look cakey. It doesn't look sweaty and oily, and it doesn't feel heavy on my face either. It feels great. I really, really, really like this. Like I said, I don't know how my dry skin girls are gonna like it because, you know, it didn't have like that slippy feeling, but it is a natural finish. It's not a matte finish, so maybe if you moisturize really well underneath, it'll be just fine. But I really, really love this product. The shade match was spot on. It's so natural, and I'm really happy that I grabbed it. I can definitely see myself using this for like my everyday makeup. Unless I really want like a full glam look, I probably would reach for my House Labs, but if I don't reach for that, I'm probably gonna reach for this. So I don't think I have any more to say about this product. It's great. Personally, I love it. Pretty much it for my review. I hope that you guys enjoyed it and found it useful. If you did, please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions about this Fenty Blur Stick, leave them down in the comments below and I will be sure to answer you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.